You're here. You made it to the quiet part of the night. Welcome to Pillowside Night Stories, a little corner of the world where nothing is urgent, and the only thing you have to do is let yourself rest. Tonight's story is called Snowed-In Suburban Diner at Midnight. It's a sleep story for adults about a small American diner at the edge of town. Bright and warm, while the world outside is buried in snow. You don't need to stay awake for every word. You don't need to remember the plot. If the story fades and your thoughts blur, that's not a problem. That's the whole point. For now, just make yourself comfortable where you are. If you're lying down, allow your pillow to really meet the weight of your head. Let your shoulders sink into the mattress or couch beneath you, and feel your body being held up so you don't have to hold yourself up anymore. Let's take a slow breath together. Breathe in gently through your nose, just a little deeper than usual. Fill your ribs, your chest, and then sigh the air out through your mouth, like you're fogging up a window on a winter night. Again, in and out. One more time at your own pace. In and out. There's nothing you have to fix before you sleep. No conversation you have to replay. No decision you have to solve right now. All of that can stay outside in the snow. In here, tonight, you're just going to sit for a while in a warm booth, in a quiet diner, and let the night storm do whatever it wants, without needing anything from you. It's late, later than you meant to be out. The little suburban roads have that muffled sound they only have in winter, when snow has covered every hard edge and turned the world into something soft and muted. Streetlights line the road at even intervals, their halos blurring into the falling snow. So each pool of light looks like a tiny moon lowered close to the ground. Your tires move slowly over the unplowed lane. A low crunch under you. Steady. Deliberate. Like you're driving through thick, quiet clouds. The neighborhood is still. Most of the houses are dark. Just a few golden rectangles of window glowing here and there, where someone has left a hallway light on, or fallen asleep in front of a television. Snow gathers on mailbox tops, buries parked cars up to their wheel wells, rests on porch railings, on the arms of Adirondack chairs, waiting patiently for summer. The storm has been building all evening. First a flurry, then a steady fall. Now a thick, soft curtain that limits the world to what's right in front of you. You glance at the clock on your dashboard. The glowing numbers tell you it's just past midnight. On a dry night, this drive would be nothing. An easy 10 or 15 minutes. Tonight, every block asks for patience. You ease around a curve, passing a school you recognize only from the faint outline of its sign under the snow. Then, a familiar glow appears ahead. At first, it's just a smudge of color in the white. Red, yellow, a little blue at the edges. But as you draw closer, the shape resolves into something you know. The diner. It sits at the corner of an intersection where the houses thin out, and the road begins its slow journey past gas stations, car lots, and big box stores. In the daytime, it looks almost ordinary. A long, low building with a metal roof. A row of windows along the front, and a neon sign with the name written in cheerful letters. But in the middle of a snowstorm, after midnight, it looks like something else entirely. A little ship of light, run aground at the edge of town. You signal and pull into the lot. The parking area is mostly empty, blanketed in inches of smooth, undisturbed snow. Someone has pushed through it in wide, slow arcs with a plow earlier in the evening, leaving curved paths of darker pavement that now have a fresh dusting of white on top. You follow one of those arcs, is less than #2. 4# is greater than, your tires crunching. Until you slide gently into a space near the front windows. For a moment, you simply sit there. The engine ticks as it cools. The heater fan hums, and all around you, snowflakes drift steadily through the beams of the diner's lights. Through the glass, you can see the inside. Chrome-edged counters, red vinyl booths with white piping, A row of stools like little anchors at the bar. Over the counter, you recognize the shape of the dessert case. Curved glass glowing softly from within. You can't see what's inside from here, but you know it well enough to picture it. A wedge of pie under a silver dome. A row of cakes on white plates. A tall glass dish that sometimes holds cheesecake. Sometimes something new. Above it all, the neon sign buzzes faintly in the storm. It spells out the diner's name in looping red script. And below that, in bright capital letters etched in blue, the words, "Open 24 hours." You know it's not really 24 hours anymore. Not officially. But tonight, in this storm, the lights are still on. And that is enough. You switch off the engine. The fan winds down, leaving you in a cocoon of silence. Outside, the wind presses a little against your windshield, throwing light handfuls of snow against the glass. You sit for another breath. In and out. Then you open the door. Cold air slips in immediately. Sharp but clean. You step out, boots sinking slightly into the fresh layer of snow. You hear the soft crump under your weight and see the little crescent-shaped footprints you leave behind. You pull your coat closer, tuck your scarf up around your chin, and walk toward the diner's door. Each step makes a quiet print. The snow collects on the toes of your shoes, on the edges of your cuffs. Above you, the neon buzzes, red and blue haloing in the snowfall. You reach the little concrete stoop, stamped with decades of other souls. The glass door is marked with a simple decal, "Push." You do. Warmth wraps around you instantly, along with the familiar smell of coffee, griddle heat, and something sweet that might be syrup, or might be pie. The door sighs shut behind you, and the storm's voice drops to a muffled hush. Inside, the diner feels like its own little country. The overhead lights are bright enough to see everything clearly. but softened by age and steam so they don't feel harsh. Speckled floor tiles stretch out in patterned squares, leading past the long counter and toward the booths along the windows. There are only a few people here at this hour. At the far end of the counter is less than #2. 0 hash is greater than a man in a dark jacket nurses a mug of coffee, staring at nothing in particular. In a corner booth, an older couple sits side by side instead of across from each other, sharing a plate of fries and the last inches of a milkshake. Their heads lean close together when they speak, and sometimes they don't seem to speak at all. Just sit there, shoulders touching, watching the snow collect in the corners of the window. A low radio plays somewhere behind the counter. A soft, crackling station with old songs, half melody, half static. From the kitchen comes the occasional clink of metal, the sizzle of something meeting a hot surface, then quiet again. "Hey there," a voice says gently. You look toward the sound. A server stands a few steps away, wearing a simple polo shirt with the diner's name stitched over the chest, and an apron tied at the waist. Their smile is the kind people have when they've been working late and have decided to be kind anyway. "Storm caught you too, huh?" they say. Voice quiet enough not to disturb anyone else. You nod. "Well, you're welcome to ride it out in here," they say. "Sit wherever you like. I'll bring you something warm." You thank them, and your eyes drift toward the booths lining the windows. You choose a booth halfway down, not too close to the door, not too close to the kitchen. Is less than #2. 2 hash is greater than, where you can see both the room and the snow-covered street outside. The red vinyl creaks softly as you slide in. The seat is firm, but forgiving, and there's a little bounce under you as the cushions accept your weight. You shrug out of your coat, laying it beside you along the booth, and place your gloves on top. The table is cool under your fingertips, wiped clean so many times its surface has become almost satin. A small metal caddy sits near the wall, holding napkins, sugar packets, and a tiny glass shaker of salt and pepper. In the middle of the table, Between the napkin holder and the window is a little stand with a laminated card. On one side, it advertises the lunch special. On the other, a dessert you've had once or twice and thought about more often than that. You turn your gaze to the window. From in here, the storm looks almost gentle. Snow falls steadily past the glass, sometimes pushed into swirling patterns by a gust of wind, sometimes drifting straight down in slow, lazy lines. The street beyond is mostly deserted. A single car crawls past every few minutes, headlights making pale tunnels through the white. The traffic light at the corner goes through its cycles anyway. Red to green to yellow, even if it's only changing colors for the snow. You hear the soft clink of ceramic is less than #2. 0 hash is greater than, and look up as the server returns. They set down a mug in front of you, steam curling lazily up from the dark liquid inside. House coffee, they say with a little smile. On nights like this, it feels wrong to charge for the first cup. You wrap your hands around the mug. It's hot, in the nicest way. Heat seeps into your fingers, your palms, then spreads up into your wrists and forearms. You lift the mug carefully and take a small sip. It tastes like late-night diner coffee always does. A little strong, a little bitter, but softened with cream and sugar, and made better somehow by the fact that it's here, and hot, and waiting for you. The server leaves a menu on the table. You don't have to decide anything right away, they say. Take your time. The storm's not going anywhere for a while. You nod and watch them drift away down the line of booths, checking on the man at the counter, trading a few quiet words with the older couple, before disappearing through the swinging door to the kitchen. You don't open the menu yet. Just sit, hands around your mug, breathing in the rising steam. Inside your coat, your body begins to adjust to the new warmth. You feel heat pooling slowly in your core, like a small stove catching and spreading. Your shoulders, having spent so much of the day raised and ready, is less than hash 2. 8 hash is greater than start to lower. You notice it first as the absence of effort. That little sense of, oh, I don't have to hold myself up quite so tightly right now. Your breath lengthens without you having to make it. In and out. In and out. Around you, the diner's sounds become a kind of lullaby. The soft clatter of cutlery far away. The low, patient rumble of the heater kicking on beneath the windows. The quiet squeak of rubber soles as someone moves behind the counter. Even the faint buzz of the neon sign outside, filtered through glass and snow, becomes a gentle, steady companion. You let your gaze travel slowly around the room, over the counter with its chrome napkin dispensers, the dessert case with a few slices of pie under domes catching the light, the row of syrup bottles with their little metal caps. On the wall behind the counter, a chalkboard lists the specials in uneven handwriting. One of the letters has been half erased and written again, making it look like a smudge of snow itself. A small jukebox sits at the end of the counter. Lights dimmed but still glowing, as if it, too, is drowsy, waiting to be awakened by a single coin. You imagine what songs are tucked inside it. Old ballads, slow jazz, maybe one or two cheerful tracks that sound like sunlight on chrome. Tonight, they can all stay where they are. The radio playing quietly from the back is enough. Eventually, you reach for the menu. The laminated cover is smooth beneath your fingertips, edges slightly worn from being handled by so many hands before yours. You flip it open. Breakfast on one page. Burgers and sandwiches on another. Then a section for late-night plates, meant for exactly the kind of people who find themselves here at exactly this hour. Your eyes drift down the options, not really reading, just letting the familiar words wash over you. Pancakes, grilled cheese, tomato soup, hash browns. Everything you see promises the same thing. Not excitement, not novelty, just comfort. When the server returns, you've made up your mind. You order something simple, something warm and familiar. Maybe a bowl of soup, maybe eggs and toast, maybe a slice of that pie you've been pretending not to think about. The server nods, jots a note on their pad, and disappears again with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their way around every corner of this place. You sip your coffee. Outside, snow continues to stack up on the world. Plows move through now and then, pushing heavy curls of white to the sides of the road, where it waits in soft, dense hills. Each time a plow passes, you feel a faint vibration in the soles of your feet is less than #2. 4 hash is greater than, through the floor, up into the booth. It's not a jarring feeling, just a gentle reminder. The storm is doing its thing. The town is being taken care of. And you are allowed to sit here in the middle of the night in a warm pool of light, with nothing pressing on you except the weight of your own eyelids. When your food arrives, it comes on a heavy plate that clinks pleasantly as it touches the table. Steam rises in little curls, carrying with it the smell of butter and herbs and something toasted. You take your time. There's no rush to finish. No appointment waiting for you when you leave. Each bite is its own small, complete event. The way the warmth spreads from your tongue to your chest. The way the flavors linger just a second before fading. The way your body seems to sigh in gratitude at being given something hot and simple at this hour. When you're done, you push the plate gently to one side and cradle your mug again in both hands. The coffee has cooled a little, but it's still warm enough to be comforting. You notice the older couple getting up to leave. They slide out of their booth with the ease of long practice, help each other into coats, and share a quiet laugh over something you can't hear. The server brings them a small paper bag, probably the last piece of something for tomorrow. There are handshakes, a pat on the shoulder, a sense that this is a familiar ritual. You watch them step out into the storm, pausing for a moment as the wind greets them, then walking together between the snowbanks. Two dark shapes haloed by the diner's light, until they disappear into the white. The man at the counter eventually pays and leaves as well. When the door falls shut behind him, it's just you, the server, and whoever is still moving quietly in the back. The diner feels even more like a cocoon now. Need a refill? The server asks softly, appearing at your elbow. You glance at your mug. There's still a little coffee left, but you nod anyway. They top it off with practiced ease. Take your time, they say. We're in no hurry. You smile. And when they drift away again, you let your body slide just a fraction lower in the seat. You lean your head back against the cushioned booth. The red vinyl is cool at first where it meets your neck, then quickly warms. You stare at the ceiling for a moment. Rectangles of acoustic tile. A few hairline cracks where time has traced its own little maps. The gentle circle of light around each fixture. You follow the pattern with your eyes, feeling your vision blur at the edges. As sleep tugs a little more insistently at your attention. When you lower your gaze back to the window, is less than #2. 8# is greater than you realize the snow has changed. It's still falling, but not as urgently. The flakes are larger now, drifting in slower, more graceful arcs. The plows have done their work. The streets, while still muffled and pale, look more like roads again, less like rivers of cloud. The world is settling. So are you. You shift sideways in the booth. There's no one else here to mind if you get a little more comfortable. You slide your coat closer. Fold it once. And tuck it against the wall to make a softer place for your head. You turn slightly, resting one shoulder against it. Then let your cheek find the padded back of the booth. One hand remains around your mug. Fingers loose. Steady. The other hand settles on the table. Palm down. Feeling the cool smoothness under your skin. Your legs stretch out under the table as far as they can. Feet brace lightly against the opposite seat. It's not a bed, but it's enough. Your eyes drift closed for a moment. Behind your lids, you can still see the storm. Not as individual flakes now, but as a soft, shifting texture of light and dark. You can still hear the diner, but its sounds have moved a little farther away, like waves on a beach listened to from a warm towel. The radio's song becomes something more like a heartbeat. The heater's hum becomes a blanket. The occasional clink from the kitchen is like someone gently straightening up a dream. You might open your eyes again briefly. If you do, you'll see the server wiping down a section of counter, polishing a salt shaker, or refilling the napkin holders. They glance over at you once, not in a hurry, not impatient, just making sure you're comfortable. They know the difference between someone who's overstayed and someone who just needs a place to land in the middle of a storm. Tonight, you are firmly in the second group. Little by little, they dim a few of the overhead lights. Not the ones you need to see your way out, but the ones that would shine too brightly into the empty parts of the room. The diner grows softer, its corners rounding into shadow. Outside, the intersection light continues its cycle. Green to yellow to red. Even if you're the only one there to witness it. Your body grows heavier. First in your feet, where the last of the cold has long since melted away. Your calves relax, no longer braced for slippery sidewalks or uncertain steps. Your thighs release some tension you didn't know they were holding. Muscles no longer ready to press the gas or the brake. Your back softens into the booth, adapting to its curve, letting the vinyl do more of the work. Your shoulders drop again by a fraction of an inch, is less than #2. 8# is greater than enough to feel different. Enough to feel like surrender. Your jaw loosens, teeth resting gently apart. Your tongue settles comfortably in your mouth, not pressed against the roof, not ready to speak. There is nothing left to say tonight. You watch one last snowflake trace its path down the window. It lands on the lower edge of the glass, joins a little drift of other flakes, and begins to soften, edges blurring as it melts into the rest. Thoughts are doing the same thing in your mind now. Individual items, sharp lists, clear worries, all starting to lose their edges, merging into something softer and quieter. If a thought about tomorrow appears, you can imagine it as a car drawing up to the intersection outside. It pauses at the red light, engine idling, waiting. When the light turns green, you don't have to get in. You can just watch it drive away into the snow. Headlights shrinking until they blend into the rest of the night. There will be time for that car tomorrow. Tonight, you get to stay right here. The diner is your harbor. The storm can come and go. The plows can pass. The lights can change from red to green to yellow and back again. Inside, nothing is rushing you. You are allowed to doze in this booth. Hands loose around your mug is less than #2. 6# is greater than head resting against your makeshift pillow for as long as you need. The server knows. The diner knows. The night knows. You are the kind of customer the storm brings in. And everyone understands that storms don't work on a strict schedule. Your only task now is to drift. If your eyes are still slightly open, you can let them close the rest of the way. Feel the darkness behind your lids. Not as emptiness, but as a soft, deep booth, lined with cushions, waiting specifically for you. Your breath is slow now, steady, in and out, like the easy swing of a door on a hinge. Every inhale brings in warmth, safety, and the faint, comforting smell of coffee and sugar. Every exhale lets go of the day. All the roads you drove, all the conversations you had, all the things you meant to do, but didn't. They can all settle like snow on a quiet street. No one is asking you to shovel them tonight. You are safe here. In this snowed-in suburban diner, at the edge of town, at the edge of the storm, the neon sign keeps watch over the parking lot. The plows keep watch over the roads. The server and the cook keep watch over the coffee pots and the pie case. And the booth keeps watch over you. You don't have to stay awake to be looked after. You can let go completely. The night will go on without you. The diner will still be here in the morning. Right now, your only job is to rest. You can rest now. You can sleep now. Good night.